Welcome to Manifest Recordings, the official platform for the behind the scenes of every song from every Manifest artist. Hope you enjoy. But yeah, how you doing, man? What you been up to?
All good. I've been sick this week, so I'm just recovering. My voice is still a little bit out. I've been coughing a lot, but I mean, I've been good. Grinding out, getting ready to put out this album that I'm putting out, and yeah, just gonna roll it out and see if it does what it needs to do. So I'm feeling really good. How about you?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I just kind of rolled out a project. It was like a compilation of all my monthly releases as well as a couple new songs, this being one of them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. This is the first time I've ever done one of these virtually. Just started doing video and everything recently, so it's new. It's new.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What got you into the doing the video side of it? Like you were just always interested in it, or for more content, or what was like your thing? Why you got into it?
It's the content. I mean, you know, the audio is great and everything. And the reason I started the podcast was to give people like a look behind, like, you know, what the lyrics mean and everything, but also just to get to know me and my personality a bit. And then I realized that all of the clips and everything, like I can't just post audios, you know what I mean? So decided to do videos, but you know, it's another layer of work to add on top of it. So
For sure.
But yeah.
Sure. So far, so good though.
yeah. It's a ton of fun. Yeah, I don't love editing them, but
It is what it is.
I can imagine. Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of work.
yeah. But it was your birthday recently, right?
Yeah. Last Sunday.
How'd that go?
It was good. I'm almost 30, so got one more year. I was with my family. My girl came into town all last week, so I got spoiled. It was cool. It felt really nice just to be around the people I care about the most. So I'd seen a lot of like my friends and stuff earlier this summer. I'm in the middle of the Midwest, in the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah.
I saw everybody out in Houston in July. So I've pretty much had a really good summer, really good birthday. I really couldn't ask for much more, complain about anything. So
Yeah. How was the show in Houston?
it was great. A really, really, really good show. I'm thinking back to it now. It's been just about a month, maybe a little bit more now. I had lost my voice when that happened, maybe like 3 or 4 days before, and it didn't come back like until maybe like 20 minutes before the show. So that was really, really kind of stressful for me. But the show itself went great. I had a couple openers, Josie Green, Tino, Uncle Tino, and then Jet the Third. So they all did amazing. I had some other people come as well, I had some models. So it was really, really dope. I can't wait to do it again. I don't have anything set right now, but I know it's definitely something I'm going to want to do annually for sure in Houston. So I had a good time.
That's sick, man. That's sick. So yeah, you want to dive into the song a bit?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So this song came about. I wrote this song in 2022, I think, and I've just been holding on to it because I really enjoyed it and just been waiting to find the right person to do a verse on it and everything, right? And then one day, earlier this year, months ago, you tweeted and you were like, "Hey, anybody I haven't worked with or any producers or whatever, like hit me up. I'm trying to work."
Yeah.
And then this song was made out of it. I sent it over to you, and you sent me that verse back very quickly.
Thank you. I tried my best.
Yeah.
The beat made it hella fire to write. So I mean, I didn't really have a hard time like getting to it as soon as I got it. So
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
it. If you don't mind me, where'd you find the beat originally? And like, obviously you were choosing through which ones to pick. How did you choose this song to pick and send to me? And then the production and who made the beat? Because I actually don't know that. So,
man, I don't remember who made the beat. I got it on YouTube. I think it's a guy named Seeds.
I know who that is. Yeah, well, not personally, but like I know. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
If you rap long enough and you've been on YouTube, you start to know who a little bit, a couple of the guys. For sure. Shout out to you.
For real. I've used YouTube beats my entire career. Just haven't made like enough personal connections with many producers and everything to get that going, and haven't done the work to do that as well. But I'm happy with what I've been finding, you know what I mean? But I would definitely love to switch it up, get a little bit more custom with it. But yeah, I heard that beat, knew I wanted to write on it. Like I said, it was like 2 years ago, so I don't remember like specifically the headspace I was in and everything. But I remember that when you tweeted that and everything, and I was like, oh, I have this song, and I wanted this song to come out on my project as well. So I was like, all right, this lined up. And then the song has like a kind of just like an eerie and like a bit like darker, more somber kind of like undertone to it. And I feel like that fits like your voice well and like your aesthetic a bit. You know what I mean? So that's why I sent that over. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I just wanted to know. I appreciate you, dog. Yeah, I was a little curious. I was always curious. I was like, this beat is hard, and I had no idea where it came from. So I was like, let me ask him for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna dive into one of your lyrics actually. You said,
pressure will determine the Labradors from the prairie dogs.
First off, love that line.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
And then I wanted to ask, what is one of the biggest like obstacles or realizations that you've had in your career that like kind of changed your whole perspective on it?
It's a really good question. There's a lot of right answers for me, just because there's a lot of different things that have happened. I'd say for like most timely and like on brand with what we're doing with the song and everything, I'd say I want to say don't meet your heroes. That's like what's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't want to just say that because that's cliche. What I mean by that is kind of what I will say is not everyone who you think is as far ahead is as far ahead as you think they were. And not everyone who's as far behind is as far behind as you think they were. So that obviously, whoever listens to this, that's going to mean a bunch of different things to people depending on where you are in your career and kind of like the work you put in and who you've met and what you've done. But for the people that get it, you're going to get it. So it's not in a bad sense. I don't think that there's anything wrong with meeting people you look up to or working with people that, may have seen like a lofty goal or something like that. But I've learned in my career just to have the same respect for every single person I'm working with, whether they're an A-list artist or they're someone who no one's ever heard of with maybe like 25 monthly listeners. So obviously, again, that's cliche. I know we've heard all that shit before, but I really kind of stand by that because that was even going back to the line. I think that's one of the separating factors to me between like the people who really last and the people who are just in it for the moment. I think the people who are in it for the moment are kind of looking for a bunch of other people who are in it for the moment. And the ones who are last kind of, I don't know, just the way life works, they kind of find each other. So I think without getting too much deeper into it, just staying grounded and staying true to yourself. Obviously, we have goals and people we want to work with and stuff we want to do. I always want people to achieve, the stuff they set out to do. But at the same time, I always want people to, just have a good sense of self and understand that like no one's that much bigger than you or that much further behind you. And the moment you can realize that and like fix your energy and how you treat every single person, I think it really, really starts to show in your artistry and in your music and your character as well. So,
yeah. I mean, shit, that was a great answer. And I just want to note, feel free to like go on tangents, dive in, whatever. Like that's what we do here.
I'd be talking about Marvel half of the podcast, to be honest.
For sure.
But yeah, I think recently one thing that I've been realizing is like there's so much talent, and talent is like rarely the reason why somebody isn't making like progress. It's almost always like marketing or consistency, like those types of things. And I think that I realize that it's important to be a master of your craft, absolutely. But if you want to make a career out of it, you have to make a career out of it rather than just like making the best possible music you can. You have to do that as well as the other stuff.
I think both are equally important to me. I don't think one outweighs the other, especially in the climate we're in. I think you need both.
Yeah. And I think to me, when I think of that line, I think that's another little thing that separates people. Is like you can tell. Like I love when people are just like super passionate about the music and everything. But I also really love, when people are like, I want to make this my career, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it how to make money off of it. You know what I mean? And just I guess just being aware of which one you are and going all in.
Yeah, and then even for me, like, I don't know. People say that I present myself as having it figured out. I feel like I don't know shit, bro. So like, even back to what we were saying, I think it was just trial and error. I think naturally, because I'm excited about music and excited about working with people, your energy gets up for a bigger name or a bigger act or something like that. But that was really early on for me. And I learned both the easy and the hard way. That shit really doesn't mean anything or do anything for you. It's really your connections with the people and how you treat people. So, yeah, like I said, just staying even nailed. Sometimes it's easier said than done. I still feel like I've trouble with it sometimes. If like a really big name pops on my phone or a really big artist that I grew up listening to or something like hits me up to work or something like that, I think it's really cool. But I try just not to lose myself in like the glitz and glam of just making it and making it big, but like the actual work. So
yeah. It's important to have good music.
Yeah, for sure.
So another line that you had was,
I've seen way too many fall from these heights, and that's a scary drive.
and so I was gonna ask, which kind of ties into what I was just saying, but what is like the biggest reason that you see people not, making it or not making like the progress they want to see when it comes to like music?
The biggest reason there's a few reasons, so like I could get into some shit, but I think the biggest reason overall, it's not going to apply to everybody. It's just the biggest reason to me. I think a lack of belief in themselves, which again I hate that my answer sounds so cliche, but I think that's really what a lot of it boils down to. I think my dad had always told me this, when you're really good at something, you tell everybody. And then when you're great at something, people will tell you. So I think and that stuck with me like throughout life. So I think because of the climate we're in, and the culture we're in and how music is being made and how it's being digested, I think there's an instant gratification that's like progressed past the word of instant gratification. I think people need the fix of people affirming them or people telling them they're great or people telling them they're good like immediately. And if you don't get that in whatever time frame you set out for yourself, I've seen a lot of people kind of burn themselves out or fade out, putting their all into projects or songs or rollouts, whatever, and then you've burnt yourself out for it. And then because it didn't come back exactly how you wanted or in the time that you wanted, people kind of like get discouraged. I know this happened to me before too. A lot of people who drop projects, I'm not sure if you've ever dealt with this. I call it the post-project depression. So like that month to 2 months after you're making shit, but you're not really making shit because you can't drop anything because you're rolling out the project and you expect, not even that you expect to be world famous, but you expect it to do certain things and hit certain metrics. And if it doesn't, you kind of beat yourself up, kind of like feeling like you're a failure. This has happened to me a lot. So that would be, to answer your question, the biggest thing that I'd say is what's stopping a lot of people, because there's so many people doing it. Not everyone can just be an overnight celebrity. And because it's not happening overnight for people quick enough, I think people are dropping out of it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm experiencing a bit of that at the current moment and just trying to figure out like how I want to navigate after this, how I want to change things up and how I want to, because like the plan is to do the same thing again. So I've been dropping monthly every month on the 8th. And so I'm going to keep doing that. I have another song coming out September 8th and build that up into the next project. And I'm trying to figure out how do I make this feel different from the last one and feel like a level up. You know what I'm saying?
It's easier said than done. Like, obviously we're not all signed to labels with influxes of thousands of dollars just to throw ideas and stuff. So a lot of us as indie artists or people just on the come up have to be a lot more selective and careful with what we put our energy into, which is why I think it's more draining, because we are so selective. If it doesn't work out exactly how we want it to, I think that can be really discouraging. So I think the important thing for me in that is, for me, and this is however people want to take this, I am sure I'm great. There's no doubt in my mind about me being great. And when I say great, I think I'm like world class. It's not better than anybody else. I just am very aware of how confident I am. Now, it feels good to hear other people tell me or to, let other people see it, but that's not my be all end all. In fact, if nobody said I was great, I would still feel like I'm great. So I think for me, it's probably my thing I'd leave to people. You don't necessarily have to think you're better than people or anything like that. You don't even have to make it competitive, but you do have to believe in yourself almost to the point of delusion, where if 7 billion, 8 billion people looked at you and said, this isn't it, do you still feel like it's it, or are you going to like waver? So that's kind of the advice I'd give to people, is just, if you know, you really don't need anybody to tell you. But when people do tell you, it hits different because you already knew. So yeah,
man, that's good. You keep dropping these quotables, dude. Like I'm gonna have to clip all of these for real.
Use them all, bro. I got you. I'm not using them in bars, so it's all good. It's all good.
I mean, yeah, that's so. If everybody in the world, if 8 billion people looked at you and told you that's not it, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stand your ground? You're gonna stand on it or no?
We don't know him personally, but it's a good example. Like Kanye, we've seen enough. If he was standing in front of the world, now this just wouldn't happen. But if he was standing in front of the world and nobody was vibing to his music, he's not any less confident that it's a vibe. He's just going to make it, keep working at it until everyone gets it. So I think that's the energy. I don't necessarily, I'm not telling everybody to go be Kanye, but I do think you need an air of that delusion and confidence in yourself to know that this last one maybe didn't bang the way I wanted it to. The next one will. And even if the next one doesn't, the next one will. And like, you have to think that way. Otherwise you've already lost. So
Yeah, no, for sure, man, for sure. Kind of building off of what we talked earlier, and I remember you said, you know, you had that project rolling out, which I've been seeing you hype up and everything. But so in the song, I said,
y'all meet your own goals, get a slap on the wrist. I meet my own goals, feel like cracking a whip on my back till it's split. That's how mad that I get, man.
are you a goal setter?
it's a bar. It's a bar, by the way. So, what's the best freestyle?
Are you a goal setter? Like, do you set goals and stuff for yourself, or are you just kind of go with the flow?
Yeah, I do. I write them down. I have very, very lofty, kind of like outlandish goals that I set for myself. And then I have like the more realistic ones. Then I have the ones that like I can make happen like within a few days. And I try and just like separate them all so I don't just get overwhelmed with everything I want to do. But I'm a very, very meticulous planner and thinker. And there's like a bunch of different books upstairs in my room of like notebooks. I have notebooks of people I wanted to work with 5 years ago. And a lot of them I've worked with type things and festivals and shows. I think a lot of artists are kind of like that. I don't want to go as far to say I don't see how you cannot be, because I know a lot of artists who aren't, and they just kind of go by, you know, whatever they feel, and it works out for them too. I just feel like for me in my life, it doesn't have to go to my plan, but I like when I plan and then things can branch from there. I feel a lot more comfortable. I feel like anything can go wrong when I don't have a plan.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. With that, what is one of the, you know, the big things that you crossed off your list this year that you were able to do, and what's something that you're still trying to do? Maybe something with the album coming out.
I guess the obvious one would be the West Side Boogie feature. So that's been really, really dope. That's actually, I don't mind sharing this on here with you, bro. So that'll be the lead single for the project I'm about to drop. I think that's going to drop. I have the songs ready. I'm just pulling the trigger. It's going to drop late September. So I'm just waiting to like make sure I have everything, all my ducks in one order. So that's, I don't want to say, and again, going back to what we were saying earlier, I don't want everyone to put anything on working with anyone big or anything like that. So I don't want to call it life-changing, but with the stature and the level he's at in terms of just rap outside of like the industry, just rap, that was a life-changing feature for me because it's Boogie and he's just one of my favorite artists. So going back to what we were saying, the world could hate the song. I fuck with him and he fucks with me, and like we made something that I think is dope. That's really all there is to it. Now, if the world happens to fuck with it, great. If I happen to touch Billboard and all that, great. I'm welcoming it all. However, even if it doesn't chart or no one plays it, I still think it's fire. So I think that would be like my really, really, really dope thing. Something I still need to accomplish this year. I don't know if it's musical, but I moved back home with my parents. This is my dad's office that I'm in. I have no like embarrassment about sharing like or being transparent about stuff like that. Life just gets hard, especially being in music. So getting out of here, I love my parents. I can stay here as long as I want, but I just have bigger goals than this. So I'm looking at Chicago, actually. I'm actually really, really looking at Chicago. Keep that on the low. I don't know how many people are going to listen to this, but that's probably going to be my next move for sure. So that's like my personal goal. And that ties into my music because I know being in a city like that, even just being able to link with you, like, and we can do shit like this in person. I think that would be really, really huge. And then all the other artists and friends and peers that I have there, I think it would just be really, really healthy for me. So that's what I'm working on that I don't mind sharing. And then, yeah, the Boogie thing is really, really, really dope. So I'm just proud that that even happened. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. Congrats on that. I remember when you posted the clip when you played it at your show and everything. And I showed my boy I was with him, and I was like, dude, listen to this right here. Like, this is crazy. And so I'm excited.
I tried to rap. I tried because it's Boogie. Again, I don't know who, but like it's Boogie. So he's an elite lyricist. So I had to make sure whether people know me or not that like I'm surviving on the track at least. So let me just put it that way. Yeah,
Right.
Man, and then the other thing I was gonna say is, yeah, Chicago has a great like underground music scene, and like you'd kill it out here. You thrive out here.
For sure. And then me being that, I hate like that, but it's a real thing. So me being the Nomad, obviously that's not my birth name or anything, but I moved so much growing up and around. So by the time I reached college, I went to 4 different high schools in 4 years. I went a whole bunch of places after college, Atlanta, Memphis, New York, like the list goes on. So it makes sense for me to try a new city again. I've always loved Chicago anyways, even from the first times I went there in 2016 to actually speak as a pastor. So seeing it turn, I don't want to call it full circle, but to turn into what it's turning into now, where eventually, hopefully I'll be playing shows and performing with people and doing like cool stuff. I just think it's really, really dope. So yeah, I'm grateful. Hopefully it works out. That's one of those things like we just talked about. I'll plan that. If it ends up being somewhere else or if it takes a little longer, I'm cool with all of that. I'm too old to like put a timeline or a limit on everything. However, I just set the goal and set the intent and then I work from there. So
Yeah. I'm totally with you. I work a very similar way in setting up like where I'd like to go, and having a bit of grace in how I'm gonna get there or the timeline on it. You know? So I got one segment on this show, and it is called Line Time, and it's just where we just talk about our favorite lines. You don't have to give like any sort of explanation or whatever. It's just like just list out, a line that you like. So a line that I have on here is from me, and I say, and because that Black Air Force energy.
And I'm putting that out to everybody. Like it's time. It's time.
Wait,
like,
do you own Black Air Forces?
No. No. I want to clear that for the cameras. No. Nah.
Sorry,
I do not.
Sorry.
I do not. You will not catch me out in those. But the energy, when it comes to music though, it's there. Sure.
But yeah, what about you?
Let's stay on that real quick. Where does that come from? Okay, and you got to be honest with me. So I'm gonna talk, and then just feel free to share. So like,
yeah,
I don't know too much about you. We're cool. We've talked a few times. I know you're from Chicago. You have a really good head on your shoulders. You're super meticulous about how you do your music. You're really, really intentional about your features. So like for me, like outside looking in, it's just very, very well put together, which isn't a bad thing at all. Black Air Force energy just feels. So I'm not saying it's not you.
Yeah.
Talk to me about like that connection there. Where does that come from? Is that like a chip on your shoulder, just random, or did someone try you? Like, what is that? What's the?
Nah, it's just bar. It's just a bar. Also like, not to say I haven't like used that or like been around that. But it's not I wouldn't say that it was like a huge thing or something. I grew up in the suburbs, you know what I mean? I'm 45 minutes out from the city. We're nice and chill. I mean, I live in like majority white neighborhoods and everything hella chill out here.
I mean, I'm not even that you're, because of course you live there, so you're not wrong. But then even with this is a really good conversation, bro. There is this like subculture of our culture that believes if it's not straight out the hood, no matter, I'm not even just talking Chicago, anywhere. If it's not straight from the hood, then it doesn't have any type of like danger to it. I'm sure, there was danger in the suburbs too. Like it's not as dangerous or anything, but there's still an element of living life and learning what to look out for and stuff like that too. So yeah, I think just from talking to you even on this like podcast, bro, I think you just being from a suburb of Chicago, that's going to put like I got a point to prove, because everyone I know from Chicago is like that. It's not even personal. It's just like, there's just like, if someone does try me, I'm ready for anything, which isn't a bad thing. Really, really, really dope. So that's why I was curious, but I wanted to ask where that came from.
Yeah, and I'm not a person that really gets tried or tries people, because like I'm a super peaceful, like it's all love. Like I'm not trying to fight nobody for real. Like, but also don't get in my face.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that is to be respected, and it's commendable too. Because again, people love to diminish that because, oh, you're not from X, Y. And I'm like, how are you invalidating someone's experience? Yeah. So I think that's really dope, bro. For sure. Especially having grown up if you don't mind me asking, where did you grow up in Chicago or the suburbs?
Like I said, it's pretty deep out.
It's a ways out.
Yeah, like the Joliet area. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And then I'm from London. I'm from Southeast London. Where I'm from is a rough area. I left when I was 10, so I don't ever try and present myself as street or hood. However, I've been around it. I grew up around it. I know how to move around it. So like, yeah, I think that's an important like thing for people to be able to realize. You don't have to be from that to be like accepted in the culture. I think it's perfectly fine to be from a suburb and just rap.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a line from me, the one that was sticking out is my Justin Tucker line. I don't know why, but
Justin Tucker ain't no running it back if my niggas kick it off.
pretty self-explanatory unless you don't know sports. But Justin Tucker is probably one of the best kickers, if not the best kicker in NFL history. So I just simply saying his name was a respect to him. But more so, there's no coming back if my niggas start like the moves, which can mean a variety of things. But like if we get it popping, or if we decide to turn up, or if me and Prez decide to really rap on y'all niggas, then it's over. There's no there's no get back, there's no return. And again, like I always joke, I'm always lighthearted, but I'm very confident about like the people I work with and myself and our abilities. So that's not a joke. It's if we decide to turn up, that's what it is. So it wasn't a threat, but it was very much kind of like that energy of like, same thing you were just kind of saying. I'm not a killer, but don't push me kind of thing. So I think an air of that in rap is very, very healthy, bro, for sure. So
yeah. I think it's kind of the nature of the sport and the competitiveness and all that.
Yeah, it adds a little. It's like parsley, adds a little flair to it.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah, just a little something for sure.
The other line I wanted to point out from you was
when I'm in the South, I still wrap around them like porches.
I did say that. I don't know why I said that because I'm not a big fan of slave bars. Just because you just don't have to. But it fit in the flow of what I was saying. I remember like vividly when I was writing, I think I was sitting in this exact seat actually. It's just like a well thought out line. It's a clever bar, so I'm not ashamed of it. But it's definitely one of those bars where I'm like, okay, I could have said something. And that's why I think that's a good conversation to have too. Even looking back, I feel like I could have said something more impactful there. And I don't think there's any harm in like sharing or admitting to that. So I think part of that is learning like how to do features, learning how to stay on topic, learning how to like match what I'm big on this too, matching what the feature, whether I'm featured or the person is featuring with me, matching the energy and not just kind of like just going in with your own world kind of thing. So I really like the line too, but that's one of those lines to me where I'm like, okay, if I could do that over, it's a great bar, but at what cost? I'd much rather say something more impactful there. So
yeah. I mean, I got some of those too. But actually speaking on the collaboration thing, I was just thinking about this earlier. I was trying to figure out if I prefer doing solo songs or collaborations. And I think the asterisk that I'd add to it is because normally I think I'd prefer solo songs, but I prefer a collaboration if it's like a well thought out, intentional collaboration of the artist rather than just, send a song and get like random verse, you know what I'm saying? But when you can tell that like people went in there with intention to make a cohesive like song, I love that. I love that.
Me too. I think my ultimate form of collaboration is in person, just in general. It doesn't even have to be music. But like hypothetically, let's say I'm pulling up to your side of town tomorrow. We plan to work on, and this has happened with a few people. We plan to work on music. We don't, wherever happens, we get into some other shit. We don't end up making music. The next time we link, we end up making music. It just feels more natural. There's a state of flow between two people. This has happened too, where I've collaborated with people in person and we're really, really good friends. Like we can hang, go have a good time, whatever. But the actual artistry of how we create music just doesn't work. So I think what you're saying is really, really important. I don't necessarily have a favorite way outside of like in person to do it. I'll collab with anybody. However, though, like you said, I'm past the phase of collabing just for the sake of collabing. I will do that still, but I'm trying to make sure I choose my words carefully. I'll do that, but I think my bottom line for that is it has to be fun. Mm-hmm. If I don't know you and you don't know me and we're collabing, I have to be having fun. The money and the logistics and all that other stuff is secondary to me, even though that's important. I have to be having fun. That's like my base to work with a person. Then after that, we can start to figure out all the, who's going to go where, what we're going to do, how we're going to do this. So it really just depends on the person with me. But my favorite collabs are people I can vibe with outside of the collab, because then it just makes working together way more easier. So
yeah, I'm with that. I make a lot of my music by myself, and I've only actually collabed a couple of times in person with people. I self-record everything, and so, but those couple times that I have done it, like it's been so much fun to be able to like bounce off of somebody in real time, rather than emails back and forth and everything. It also like pushes you to do it better,
Sorry, a quick question. Were you, they had those Chicago sessions recently. Were you able to go to those?
Yeah.
How was that? Because that's, I'm sure, like on track with what we're talking about. That was a completely different energy from by yourself. What was that like?
Yeah. It was sick, man. It was sick. I was happy when I got the invite, and I was like, man, like it's gonna be sick because I'm fans of a ton of these people. You know what I mean? And so to be able to meet some of them and work with some of them, I think I did like 5 songs or something. Man, people did a lot, man. Asar is out here like running the event, but he also did like 8 songs per day. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, man. I mean, so when we did sanctuary sessions, and this all just ties together. We did sanctuary sessions maybe 2021, similar format. I don't know the details of like what Chicago was, but it looked very, very similar, like in a good way. So it's just really, really dope. You have 3 or 4 engineers, producers who know what they're doing. You get a bunch of artists together, let them cook. So prior to that, me and most, if not all of the artists who came to the sanctuary sessions, maybe about 30, 40 of us, had worked exactly how you're talking. We're by yourself, maybe 1 or 2 people, maybe the homies, maybe. And then you're recording, you're really comfortable because it's home. You know how your mic works. You know how we'd been to studios before, but like very few and far between, you know, the kind of energy. So when you get to a collaboration space like that, I think it changes your life. I don't even think it's better or worse. I just think it changes how you view music and collaboration, because you'll hear someone producing something and you're like, oh, this is fire. Let me go see what my idea is. And by the time you're like getting ready to write your idea, someone has freestyled and recorded something incredible. And you're like, and then someone else has done so. So it changes your speed. It changes your like understanding of like people's thought patterns and how people record. I'll never forget. I'm not sure if you know Ahmad Anonymous.
I'm aware of him. Yeah.
Through Twitter. He's from Atlanta, really, really good rapper. I'd heard of him. He came to our sanctuary sessions. He records every bar like punched in, which is fine. But the way he does it, he'll literally like rap the verse before he's ready so he can like get, and he does it with every single line. I'd never seen anything like it. So I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. 3 years now, that's exactly how I record.
Just copy the whole thing.
Yeah, so it was long-winded, but I say all that to say it's just really dope when you're able to see Azar doesn't cuss in any of his songs. So even working with him, having to like train your brain to not, it's just really dope seeing how many different people do so many different things, bro. So I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, that it was sick, and I'm excited to do more collaborations in person. The one thing you were saying with how quick it goes in there sometimes, I haven't been writing recently. Like I just been too busy, and I haven't like wrote much, and so I went in there kind of like not having wrote for a minute, and I was like, damn, I better get that pen sharp real quick because it's almost time, And so yeah, it helped me to speed up my process and I guess just kind of play to my strengths as well. And really being like, oh, okay, like this flow right here, this is cool for me. Let me lock in on this. They can, do their thing and everything, but let me try out this because that's where I'm comfortable. But then also trying out the other stuff too, mixing it in a bit,
Yeah. I had Dende when we were at the joint a few years ago. He's a singer, but he records with the audio on. So like he can hear himself in the headphones, which is normal at the studio. At home, I don't do that. So I made it. I was like, wait. I was like, you recorded this, huh? So I wasn't trying to like be funny. I'm asking to learn. So like if my homeboy Zay from Massachusetts, he's a real life introvert. So he'll hear something, not say anything to anybody, and then be like, my verse is ready. You had some other people who would just be like, y'all gonna hear this while I'm writing it, so I need to know if it's fire or not. And that's how so it's really just cool just to see what people like are accustomed to. For sure.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got for this episode.
But yeah, I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Bro, thank you, bro. It was super, super fun. I had to get to do another hours. It was cool.
Yeah, this is cool, man. Definitely want to get another song. I'm excited for the album coming out.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Manifest Recordings. Make sure to follow us on social media at manifest_rec for updates on everything Manifest, and I will see you guys in the next one.